Welcome to the Reality Revolution. When you walk away from listening to this episode, there's one thing I want you to remember. And that is you can do anything you want. You can have anything you want. The universe has been lying to you, not with words, but with evidence. Every closed door, every no, every failure, they were all perfectly orchestrated illusions designed to make you forget one fundamental truth. Reality is negotiable. You can do anything you want. See, most people live their entire lives thinking reality is this solid, unchangeable thing that happens to them. They collect evidence of their limitations like trophies. They wear their circumstances like a uniform they can't take off. But here's the secret that changes everything. Reality isn't what happens to you. Reality is what happens through you. Every morning you wake up and unconsciously vote for the same reality you had yesterday. You think the same thoughts, feel the same feelings, and then wonder why nothing changes. But consciousness doesn't work that way. Consciousness is pure creative force temporarily pretending to be limited. The person you think you are, that's just one channel you've been stuck on, but you're not the channel. You're the entire broadcast system. You're the one holding the remote, and you've been sitting on it, accidentally keeping yourself tuned to the limitation frequency. Today, we're changing the channel. Because somewhere inside you, beneath all the reasonable explanations for why things are the way they are, there's a part of you that knows that you're far more powerful than you've been pretending to be. That part of you brought you here, not to learn something new, but to remember what you've always known. The game isn't rigged against you. You are the game. And you're about to remember how to play. You can do anything you want. I need you to hear that. Not as a nice idea, not as something that might be true for other people. You can do anything you want. The part of you that just dismissed that's not wisdom, that's programming. Someone somewhere convinced you that dreams have size limits, and that desire comes with terms and conditions, that wanting something too much makes you naive. But those aren't universal laws, they're just opinions you inherited from people who inherited them from other people who gave up. You can do anything you want. Yes, even that thing you just thought of, especially that thing you've been telling yourself is too big, too late, too impossible for someone like you. Look at every invention, every breakthrough, every miracle that's ever happened before it existed. Everyone knew it was impossible. The airplane, the internet, the person who walked away from the life everyone expected them to live and built something extraordinary instead, they all started with someone who believed one simple truth: you can do anything you want. You don't need anyone's permission. You don't need the perfect circumstances. You don't need to wait until you're ready, because ready is a lie. Ready is fear dressed up as patience. You can have anything you want. Not eventually, not when the economy approves, not when you lose the weight or get the degree or have more money. Now, in this reality, with what you have as who you are. Every limitation you believe in is just a story, and stories can be rewritten. Every time someone told you to be realistic, they were really saying, be as limited as I am. Every time you failed at something, you gathered evidence for a case that was never real. The universe doesn't have a list of things you're not allowed to do. The universe is infinite creative potential waiting for you to make a decision. You can do anything you want. Start a business, write the book, leave the relationship, heal your body, move across the world, transform your entire existence. The only difference between the life you have and the life you want is the story you're telling yourself about why you can't have it. And here's the truth that changes everything. The universe responds to certainty, not hope. When you know you can do anything you want, when it becomes as obvious to you as gravity, reality reorganizes itself around that knowing. Doors open, resources appear, the right people show up, not because you got lucky, not because you were in the right place at the right time or you knew the right people, but because you finally aligned with the truth. You can do anything you want. Say it out loud. I can do anything I want. Feel how your body responds to those words. Notice which part of you believes it and which part argues. The part that argues, that's not protecting you. That's the prison guard you hired to keep yourself small. You can do anything you want. And the moment you truly accept that, the moment you stop negotiating with limitation, the moment you realize that the only permission you need is your own, that's the moment your entire reality shifts. Because you can do anything you want. You always could. You just forgot. But now you're remembering. And once you remember, you can never fully forget again. Oh, I hear you. I hear that voice. But Brian, I'm a 45-year-old and 5'6". I can't be an NBA player. I can't be a supermodel. That's not realistic. And you know what? You're right. But you're also completely missing the point. When your mind immediately jumped to professional sports or modeling, that wasn't wisdom talking. That was your limitation reflex. Your mind went straight to the most extreme physical examples because that's how we've been trained to dismiss our power. We can find the one thing that seems impossible and use it as evidence that nothing is possible. But let me ask you something. Is being a professional basketball player really what you want? Or is it what you think you'd want if you were different than you are? Because there's a massive difference between wanting something and wanting to want something. You can do anything you want. The key word here isn't anything, it's want. Your true desires, your authentic wants aren't random. They're connected to who you actually are, not who you think you should be. The universe didn't give you a burning desire to play in the NBA if you're 5'6" and 45, but it might have given you a desire to experience excellence, to be part of a team, to feel that rush of competition. And those desires, you can fulfill those in 1,000 different ways. So we get confused. We think anything means everything. We think it means defying physics or becoming something that contradicts our essence. But that's not what unlimited means. Unlimited means there are infinite ways to fulfill your authentic desires. Unlimited means every real dream you have, the ones that come from your soul, not your ego, have a path to manifestation. You want to impact millions of people? You can do that. You want financial freedom? You can do that. You want to heal your relationships? Build something meaningful? Experience profound love? Create beauty? Know peace? You can do anything you want. But your mind would rather debate about basketball than face the truth about the dreams you've actually been suppressing. It's easier to say, I can't be 6'8" than to admit I'm afraid to start my business. It's safer to point at physical limitations than to confront the fact that the only thing standing between you and your actual dreams is your belief that you can't have them. The person who says, but I can't be a supermodel, they're usually not protecting themselves from unrealistic dreams. They're protecting themselves from their real dreams. They're using extreme examples as a shield against the terrifying truth that they can actually write that book, start that company, have that relationship, make that change. You can do anything you want. And your true wants, the ones written in your soul, not borrowed from magazines or social media, those aren't asking you to defy physics. They're asking you to defy your conditioning. They're asking you to stop using, but I can't dunk a basketball as an excuse for why you won't pursue what you really came here to do. The universe is far too intelligent to give you desires you're not equipped to achieve. Every authentic dream comes with its own blueprint. Every real calling comes with its own path. But we'd rather argue about height requirements than admit we're capable of anything we actually want. So yes, there are physical realities, but those physical realities have never been what's stopping you. What's stopping you is using those physical realities as an excuse to deny your actual unlimited nature in all the areas where limits don't exist. You can do anything you want, and deep down, what you really want isn't to be someone else. It's to finally be who you really are, without limits, without apology, without using, but I can't be a professional athlete, or some other excuse as a reason to stay small. The question isn't whether you can do anything. The question is, what do you actually want? Not what would you want if you were someone else. What does your soul want? Because that you can absolutely do. That's what anything really means. So now we arrive at the question that changes everything. If you can do anything you want, and you can, what do you actually want? Sit with that for a moment. Feel how your body responds to that question. Notice what happens. Most people go blank. Most people suddenly can't think. I ask this question all the time. I am fascinated by the response. Most people start listing things they think they should want: the house, the car, the relationship, the money, but those aren't wants, those are symbols. And it's okay to want those things. What do you want, really want? Not what your parents wanted for you, not what society says successful people want, not what you wanted 10 years ago and never updated. What does the person listening to this right now actually want? Here's why this question feels so hard. We've been taught to want small. We've been taught to want reasonable. We've been taught to want what's appropriate for someone like us. So when someone says you can have anything, your mind doesn't know where to look. It's like someone who's been in a cage so long they don't notice when the door opens. What do you want? Strip away what's reasonable. Strip away what's age appropriate. Strip away what people would think. If you knew that you could have anything, what would you choose? Because here's the thing about authentic desire. It doesn't come from your mind. It comes from somewhere deeper. Your real wants aren't calculated. They're not strategic. They're not based on what's missing. Real desire is creative force showing you your next expansion. Maybe you want to wake up without an alarm clock for the rest of your life. Maybe you want to build something that outlasts you. Maybe you want to feel peace so deep that anxiety becomes a foreign language. Maybe you want to love someone without holding back. Maybe you want to create something so beautiful it makes people stop and remember they're alive. So what do you want? And don't edit, don't minimize. Don't be worried about what other people think. Don't filter it. Don't tell me what you think you can have. Tell me what you want. Because the distance between those two things, that's not reality. That's just fear. Some of you want freedom, but you've never defined what freedom means to you. Some of you want purpose, but you're afraid to admit what you're really here to do. Some of you want connection. You've been performing for so long, you forgot how to be real. What do you want? The answer to that question is your roadmap. The answer to that question is your next timeline. The answer to that question is the universe waiting for you to finally ask for what you came here to experience. But what stops most people is they think they have to know how before they can want it. They think they need a plan before they can have a desire. But that's backwards. The how comes after the what. The path appears after you choose the destination. You can do anything you want, but first you have to admit what that is. So I'm asking you right now to want without permission, want without logic, want without a 5-year plan, want like a child wants. Be like a child, as Jesus says, pure, unapologetic, absolute. Want like someone who knows the universe is listening and has unlimited resources. Want like someone who finally understands that desire is not dangerous, it's guidance. What do you want? Your soul already knows. It's been trying to tell you through your discontent, through your daydreams, through that persistent feeling that there's supposed to be more. You can do anything you want. So what do you want? And more importantly, are you finally ready to stop pretending you don't know? Let's talk about that voice. You know the one. The moment you think about what you really want, it shows up. Be realistic. Don't get your hopes up. Who do you think you are? That voice isn't yours. It's a program, and like any program, it can be rewritten. This programming started before you could even speak. Every time someone told you no, every time you saw someone settle, every time you watched dreams die in the eyes of people you loved, your subconscious was taking notes. It was building a case file called Why You Can't Have What You Want. But here's what they never told you. That program is not protecting you. It's imprisoning you. It's not keeping you safe from disappointment. It's keeping you safe from your own power. You can do anything you want, but first, we need to debug the software that's been running your life. We need to find those lines of code that say people like me don't get that, and delete them. We need to locate the subroutine that runs every time you dare to dream big and shut it down. So let's start with this truth. Every belief you have about limitation is just a thought you've been thinking so long you forgot you were the one thinking it. I can't have everything I want. That's not a law of physics. That's not written in your DNA. That's just a sentence in your head that you've been treating like scripture. Watch what happens when you think about something you want. Really watch. First comes the desire, pure and clean. Then milliseconds later comes the voice of reality. But that voice isn't reality, it's conditioning. It's every person who ever played small telling you to join them. It's every fear masquerading as wisdom. You can do anything you want. Say it right now, out loud. Feel your body, how it reacts. Feel where it contracts. That contraction, that's not intuition, that's programming, fighting for its life. Because the moment you truly believe you can have anything you want, that program becomes obsolete. Here's how we reprogram. Every time that voice says you can't, you respond with why not. Every time it says be realistic, you ask according to whom. Every time it says that's for other people, you declare I am other people. The program says money is hard to come by. You say money flows to me easily because I create value. The program says love always comes with pain. You say I attract healthy love because I am whole. The program says success requires sacrifice. You say success is my natural state of being. You can do anything you want, but that old program will test you. It will bring up every failure, every rejection, every time someone told you to lower your expectations. And when it does, you need to remember those aren't predictions. They're just old data from an outdated operating system. Start paying attention to the language you use. I can't afford that becomes I'm choosing to invest my money differently right now. That's impossible becomes I haven't found the way yet. I'm not good enough. Becomes I'm becoming everything I need to be. Because here's the secret about reprogramming. You don't fight the old program. You don't argue with it. You simply install a new one and run it so consistently that the old one becomes irrelevant. You flood your system with new evidence. You celebrate every small win. You notice every synchronicity. You acknowledge every time the universe says yes. You can do anything you want. That's the new program. That's the new default. And every time the old voice speaks up, you don't debate it. You just repeat the truth until the truth is all that's left. The programming that says you can't have everything you want is scared. It should be, because you're remembering that you're the programmer. You're remembering that every limit was just a suggestion you took too seriously. You're remembering that you can do anything you want. And once that becomes your base operating system, once I can do anything I want becomes as automatic as breathing, that's when reality stops being something that happens to you and starts being something you create. That's when the universe stops testing you and starts taking orders. You can do anything you want. Install that program. Run it on repeat. Let it overwrite decades of limitation. Because the only thing standing between you and everything you want is an old story running on autopilot, and you just found the off switch. Now we activate. I want you to close your eyes for a moment. I don't care if you're driving, keep them open if you're driving, but everyone else, close your eyes. Because what we're about to do is going to shift your timeline. See what you want. Not someday, not maybe. See it as if you're living it right now. Feel the temperature of that reality. What does the air smell like in the life where you have everything you want? What sounds surround you? What does your body feel like when you're living as the person who can do anything they want? This is not pretending. This is recognition. You're not creating this reality. You're remembering it. It already exists. It's already yours. You're syncing up with the version of you that's already living it. Feel it. See it. Experience it now. The universe doesn't respond to your vision board. It responds to your frequency. It responds to the feeling of already having it. Can you feel the relief of your bills being paid without checking your bank account? Can you feel the peace of loving and being loved without fear? Can you feel the satisfaction of doing work that matters, of waking up excited, of knowing you're exactly where you're supposed to be? You can do anything you want. And the bridge between here and there is not made of action steps. It's made of incidents, synchronicities, coincidences. The universe is already building that bridge, placing every plank, orchestrating every meeting, arranging every moment that will walk you from where you are to where you're going. But here's the magic. The bridge only appears to the person who knows where they're going. When you feel it real, when you make it vivid, when you taste that reality like it's already yours, that's when the universe starts moving things around. That's when the phone rings. That's when you run into exactly the right person. That's when the opportunity that came out of nowhere shows up. Stay in that feeling. What does your morning look like in that reality? Who are you talking to? What are you creating? How does it feel to be someone who proved that you can do anything you want? Because that feeling, that specific frequency, is your magnetic point. That's what draws the bridge of incidents to you. The old you would have asked, how? The activated you asks, what else? The old you would have said, when? The activated you says, thank you. Because when you're living and the feeling of your wish fulfilled, time becomes irrelevant. You're already there. The physical world just needs a moment to catch up. Every master manifestor knows this secret. The feeling is the fact. When you can feel it so real that your body doesn't know the difference between imagination and reality, that's when reality bends. That's when timelines shift. That's when what was impossible becomes inevitable. You can do anything you want. Feel that power running through your veins. Feel your cells reorganizing around this new truth. Feel the universe conspiring to prove you right. Because from this moment forward, every single thing that happens is either delivering your desire or preparing you to receive it. Open your eyes now. Look around. This isn't the same room you were in 5 minutes ago. It looks the same, but you're seeing it from a different timeline. You're seeing it as someone who knows that they can do anything they want. And that changes everything. The bridge of incidents has already started building itself. The inspiration you just felt, that's the first plank. That person who randomly came to mind, they're part of it. That sudden knowing that it's actually going to happen, that's not hope, that's recognition. You're remembering the future that's already yours. You can do anything you want. And now that you've felt it, now that you've been it, now that you've activated it, watch how fast the universe moves to prove you right. Watch how reality reorganizes itself around your new knowing. Watch how the impossible becomes inevitable, because you don't get what you want. You get what you are, and you just became someone who can do anything they want. Now let's talk about the thing that kills more dreams than all the no's in the world, the how. The obsessive need to see every step before you take the first one. That addiction to knowing the path before you choose the destination. You can do anything you want, but not if you're strangling it with your need to know how. Here's what happens. You feel the spark of desire. You see what you want. You taste it, breathe it, know it's yours. And then your mind does what minds do. It starts calculating, how will I get the money? How will I find the time? How will I convince them? How? And just like that, you've turned a miracle into a math problem. But the universe doesn't work in hows. It works in miracles. It works in synchronicities that your logical mind could never predict. The how is not your job. Your job is the what and the why, and the universe handles the how. Take a moment and think about every breakthrough in your life. Did it happen the way you planned it? Did it follow your carefully crafted strategy, or did it come through a chance encounter, an unexpected opportunity, a door you didn't even know existed? The universe has access to infinite hows. You have access to maybe 3. When you insist on knowing the how, you're telling the universe, I only want my desire if it comes through this specific door. You're saying I can do anything I want, but only if it happens the way I think it should. It's like telling the ocean it can only touch the shore during the waves you approve of. You can do anything you want. And the moment you release the how, the moment you stop micromanaging the universe, that's when the magic happens. That's when people call you out of nowhere. That's when opportunities fall in your lap. That's when the thing you've been pushing against for years suddenly opens like it was never locked. The how is a security blanket for people who don't trust their own power. It's a way to maintain the illusion of control while simultaneously preventing what you want from arriving. Because the truth is, if you could see the how, it wouldn't require faith. And without faith, you're just rearranging circumstances, not creating miracles. Release the how. Say it with me. I don't need to know how. Feel the relief in that. Feel the space it creates. Feel how your whole body relaxes when you stop trying to figure it out. Because figuring it out is just fear dressed up as responsibility. You want financial freedom. Stop calculating and start knowing it's yours. You want that relationship? Stop strategizing and start being the person who's already loved. You want that creative breakthrough? Stop forcing and start allowing. The universe has already prepared a bridge of incidents so perfect, so elegant, so impossible for your mind to conceive that when it happens, you'll laugh at every how you tried to force. You'll see that your limited hows were actually blocking the unlimited hows that were trying to arrive. You can do anything you want, but you can't do it through the narrow doorway of your logic. You have to release the how and embrace the wonder. You have to trade your need for control for your capacity for miracles. Right now. Whatever you want most, whatever you felt in that activation, release the how. Don't abandon it. Don't give up on it. Just stop insisting it arrive through the door you're watching, because while you're staring at that one door, the universe is trying to deliver it through windows you don't even know you had. The how will reveal itself. It always does. But only to those who are brave enough to want without knowing, to choose without seeing, to leap without checking for a net, because you can do anything you want. And that includes receiving it in ways that blow your mind. So take your hands off the wheel. Stop white-knuckling your dreams into submission. The universe has been trying to deliver, but you've been too busy directing traffic to receive. Release the how. Trust the what, and watch how fast impossible becomes inevitable. Let me tell you about Sarah McGinley in 1982. I know I mentioned her before. She was working 3 jobs in Detroit, sleeping in her car. She had one desire burning so bright, it kept her warm on freezing nights. She wanted to create a place where homeless women could sleep safely. Not a shelter, a home. But she had $17 to her name and a credit score that made banks laugh. So she stopped looking at the how. She just started talking to every homeless woman she met, telling them about this place that didn't exist yet. Started describing it like it was already real. The yellow walls, the kitchen that always smelled like coffee, the library in the back room. 3 weeks later, she's at a laundromat when a woman taps her shoulder. "Excuse me, are you the lady talking about the yellow house?" Turns out this stranger had inherited 7 houses from an aunt she'd never met. Didn't want them. Paperwork was a nightmare. But one house, you guessed it, had yellow walls and a library in the back room. Today, the house has sheltered over 10,000 women. Sarah never wrote a business plan, never pitched investors. She just knew what she wanted and refused to need the how. You can do anything you want. Then there's Marcus Chen, paralyzed from the chest down at 19. Doctors said he'd never walk again, but Marcus had been dreaming the same dream since the accident, teaching his future daughter to ride a bike. He could see it, feel the sun on his face, hear her laugh when she finally got her balance. He didn't know how a paralyzed man could teach bike riding. Didn't try to figure it out, just held that image like it was a photo from the future. 2 years later, experimental surgery in Sweden, wasn't even looking for it. His doctor mentioned it offhand. Insurance said no. And then a clerical error. They approved the wrong procedure code, and by the time they caught it, Marcus was already walking. 8 years later, I dare you to watch the videos of him running behind his daughter's pink bicycle without crying. The universe doesn't care about your medical charts. You can do anything you want. Here's my favorite, Janet Wilcox, 58-year-old librarian from Iowa, never been more than 50 miles from her home. But she had this specific dream. She wanted to live in a lighthouse and write mystery novels. Could see herself climbing those spiral stairs every morning, could smell the salt air. She didn't know how to write novels, didn't know how civilians could live in lighthouses, didn't have money to move. So she just started writing anyway. Terrible mysteries about a librarian who solves crime. Sent one to a publisher as a joke for her 60th birthday. The publisher's assistant was reading it on a train when she struck up a conversation with the woman next to her. That woman, she managed historic lighthouses for the Canadian government. They just started a new program, Artists in Residence, free room in a lighthouse for a year in exchange for teaching writing workshops to locals. Janet's been living in that lighthouse for 3 years now. Her 4th mystery just hit the bestseller list. She didn't figure any of it out. She just felt it real and let the universe connect the dots. You can do anything you want. And there's another, David Torino, high school dropout. Bouncing between minimum wage jobs, his obsession, he wanted to design roller coasters. No experience, no education, used to sketch them on napkins during his shifts at Wendy's. Everyone laughed. No degree, no connections, no chance. But David didn't need their permission. Every night he'd imagine the sound of that first drop, feel the wind on test rides, see families screaming with joy on something he created. One day he's cleaning tables when a kid leaves behind a physics textbook. David starts reading it on his break, can't put it down. The textbook belongs to a college professor who comes back looking for it, sees David's napkin sketches all over it. Turns out this professor's brother works for a theme park design firm. They need someone who thinks differently, someone who understands fear and thrill from the gut, not just equations. David's designed 17 roller coasters now, no degree. Still can't explain the math, but he knows what joy feels like at 70 miles per hour. You can do anything you want. These aren't special people. They're not chosen ones. They just understood something most people fight against. When you know what you want and release how it has to happen, the universe conspires to prove that reality is far more flexible than we've been taught. You can do anything you want. And somewhere out there, someone's going to tell your impossible story to a room full of people who need to remember that the only difference between a miracle and a fact is time. Right now, in this moment, something is shifting inside you. Can you feel it? That stirring in your chest. That electricity in your cells, that's not excitement, that's recognition. Every atom in your body is remembering what it was made for. You can do anything you want. Let that land in your bones. Let it rewrite your DNA. Let it delete every program that ever told you otherwise, because this isn't just a nice thought anymore. This is your new identity. This is who you are now. Repeat after me. Say it out loud. Whisper it if you have to say it, but say it. I am unlimited potential expressing itself in physical form. Feel that. Feel how your spine straightens when you say it. Feel how your chest expands. Feel how every cell in your body says yes. Because that's not an affirmation, that's remembering. You can do anything you want. And from this moment forward, reality has to reorganize itself around this truth. Watch what happens now. Watch how different your thoughts become. Watch how solutions appear where they were only problems. Watch how doors open that you didn't even know existed. My desires are divine instructions showing me my next expansion. Say it, own it, become it. Because every want, every dream, every impossible desire, they're not random. They are your soul's GPS. They are the universe telling you where to go next. And you always have everything you need to get there. Something is activating in you right now. Something that's been dormant, something that's been waiting for permission to come alive. You can feel it, can't you? That power that's been sleeping at the base of your spine. That knowing that's been buried under years of be realistic. You can do anything you want. This is no longer a concept. This is no longer a cliche. This is your operating system. This is your frequency. This is the frequency you broadcast. This is the energy that walks into rooms before you do. People are going to start asking what's different about you. Opportunities are going to start finding you. The universe is going to start showing off through your life. Close your eyes one more time. See yourself 1 year from today. See yourself living as someone who proved that you can do anything you want. See the smile on your face. See what you've created. See who you've become. That person is not in your future. That person is in your cells right now, waiting to be expressed. Let that reprogram every circuit. Let that override every voice that ever told you to play small. Let that become so true that arguing with it feels like arguing with gravity. You can do anything you want. And the moment you truly embody this, the moment it stops being something you're trying to believe and starts being something you know, that's the moment your entire life becomes evidence of what happens when a human being remembers they are unlimited. Stand up different, walk different, breathe different, because you are different. You're not the same person who started listening to this. That person believed in limits. That person needed permission. That person is gone. You can do anything you want. Welcome to your timeline. Welcome to the reality where impossible is just another word for hasn't happened yet. Welcome to the life where the universe conspires to prove you right about your power. This is the moment. The whole universe is holding its breath, waiting to see what you do next. Waiting to see if you'll go back to sleep or if you'll stay awake, waiting to see if you'll choose the familiar cage or the terrifying freedom. You can do anything you want, but that's not just about you anymore, because when one person breaks free, when one person shatters the illusion, when one person proves that limits are lies, it creates a crack in the matrix that others can follow through. Your dreams aren't just for you. Your expansion isn't just about your life. Every time you choose possibility over probability, every time you dare to want what others say you can't have, every time you succeed at the impossible, you give someone else permission to believe. There's a child somewhere who needs to see you do what you came here to do. There's someone crying in their car right now who needs to witness your transformation. There's a person who's given up on their dreams who needs to watch you resurrect yours. You can do anything you want. And when you live that truth, when you embody that power, and you become walking proof that reality bends to consciousness, you don't just change your life, you change the frequency of the planet. You raise the ceiling for what's possible for our entire species. This is bigger than your bank account, bigger than your relationships, bigger than any goal you've written down. This is about remembering who we really are. This is about breaking the spell that's kept humanity playing small. This is about the revolution that happens when people remember they are gods pretending to be humans, not humans hoping to be gods. You can do anything you want, and every cell in creation is cheering for you to remember that. Every star in the sky is proof that impossible things exist. Every flower that breaks through concrete is showing you the way. Every miracle that's ever happened is just precedent for the one you're about to become. So what happens now? What happens when you close this video and return to a world that still believes in limits? You carry this frequency with you. You become a lighthouse for everyone still lost in the dark. You live so boldly, love so freely, create so magnificently that others can't help but remember what's possible. You can do anything you want. Say it one more time, scream it, whisper it, write it on your mirror, tattoo it on your soul. I can do anything I want. Say it. Make it the last thought before you sleep and the first thought when you wake. Make it so true that doubt becomes impossible. Make it so real that limits become laughable. Because this conversation we've had, it's not ending, it's beginning. Every synchronicity you're about to experience, every door that's about to open, every coincidence that's about to blow your mind, that's just this conversation continuing in the language of reality. You can do anything you want. And now that you know that, now that you felt it in your bones, now that you have activated something that can never go back to sleep, the universe has no choice but to prove you right. Welcome to the life where you finally understand that you're not here to fit in, follow rules, or make sense. You're here to shake the earth with your presence. You're here to make the impossible look easy. You're here to show others what happens when a human being remembers they can do anything they want. The revolution doesn't start tomorrow. It doesn't start when you're ready. It doesn't start when you have permission. The revolution starts now, because you can do anything you want. And deep down, in that place where truth lives, you've always known it. Welcome to the Reality Revolution.